Tell you, everybody knows the name, and it was such a sad number for a long time there, Joyce. We're talking about maybe 2-3%. Now we're up to like 95% in some cases now, and that's what's good.
That is what's good today. Wait till you hear this story.
Absolutely.
Yes.
This is something I hope you never, ever need for your kids, but you know
Right.
it's there as a safety net.
Tell me what's good, tell me what's nice. Keeping it cool, keeping it calm, keeping it light. Time to rejoice. What's good, what's good, what's good with John and Joyce.
I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our sponsors. Woodwinds Wedding and Special Events Venue and Silvio Sauces, thewoodwinds.com. Ascend Bank. They don't just see your accounts, they see your vision and ambitions. Ascend.bank. I'm John Cadillac Seville, along with my friend Joyce Logan. Welcome to What's Good with John and Joyce. Subscribe for free on YouTube. Like it, share it with everybody you know who needs good news. And this guy's got a lot of good news to share because this hospital has gone a long way to help protect kids and maybe one day help your kid. I hope your child never needs it. But I've heard so many stories over the years, Joyce, where somebody will bring their child into a doctor. They fell playing in the front, got a little bruise. Think it's nothing really. They go to the doctor's office. Doctor says, it's not just a bruise. I found something else. And can I talk to you, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so? And when you know Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, I need to talk to you. It's not good. But then he says, but I may not be able to help, but I know a place. And here to talk more about that is our guest, one of my dear friends for a long, long time. He's got a heart of gold. Joyce's name is Tony Raucci. Tony, welcome.
Welcome,
thank you,
Tony.
John.
So
Thank
nice
you.
to meet you today.
Yeah,
to see you,
nice to
brother.
meet you guys too.
So tell us a little bit about this special place that we kind of previewed a little bit and what your involvement is with it.
Oh, St. Jude's Hospital. Yeah, my involvement is as a volunteer. I met with them 34 years ago, somewhere around there. I actually always wanted to, people ask me, how did you start with St. Jude? And actually, I was the kid who sat in front of a TV set and watched all the Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney movies.
Yep.
So I always wanted to put on a show in a barn.
Yeah.
So
Summer
I
stock.
never had the opportunity until my son went to an elementary school in Madison called Our Lady of Mercy. And they needed to raise money. So I told the principal that, I wanted to keep the school alive for all the kids and that I would do something. So I called my aunt who lived in Pennsylvania and I said, I want to put on a show. And the reason I called her is because she was a concert pianist in the 40s. And then they relocated to Pennsylvania in the late 50s after the war. Her husband had to go to a hospital there because he got really beat up in one of the battles, Battle of the Bulge.
Thank goodness for his service.
Yeah, so he survived and all that. And she opened up her own music store and stopped doing the concert series, And she used to do the same thing, put on concerts, put on parades, put on pageants, and do all. So I figured she had all the background I
Right.
needed. So she did. She mentored me from a distance, and she told me what I had to do. And so I went out and I put on my first concert at the school there. And I didn't want it to be just a elementary concert. I wanted it to be something I could do with the kids, plus something the adults would enjoy. So then I called my friend John. And John was the MC for all the concerts we did for 5
See,
years.
I work for a great price.
Absolutely. So it got to be so good, no big head here, but it got to be so good, it went from one night to 2 nights a year. And I would send her the video, and she would tell me what was wrong with it. And she was a tough cookie, so she critiqued it.
Right.
And
Which is good
so
to
then
have, right?
Yeah, so my son graduated.
Your son, Michael.
Michael graduated in some year, 9 years later. Okay. And my aunt passed away in 97 to cancer. She loved children. That's what her store not only was a music store, but they took lessons on all different instruments. She was the piano
Isn't that
teacher.
wonderful?
Yeah.
So she loved children, but she could never have children. So when she passed away to pancreatic cancer, I said, okay, cancer and children, what charity can I find that does that? And I had heard about St. Jude, but I was never into it. I didn't need to be. So I called them up and I said, this is my story and this is what I want to do. I want to do a fundraiser for St. Jude. So that's how I started. And then after the first year of doing one fundraiser for them, I said, I want to do more because I really wanted to remember my aunt and I wanted to help the kids. So they allowed me to start the St. Jude Connecticut Network. And my whole idea behind that was, okay, let's encourage other people to do fundraisers for St. Jude. And because I found throughout the years that people like to connect where they live to the charities that they give to, the hospital's in Tennessee. So I said, if I bring it to Connecticut, maybe I can encourage some people to do fundraisers in Connecticut that would not have done that before. And I'll be the volunteer that coordinates it all. And that's how it all got started. That's why I get some of those calls, because Michael, my son, designed a website. They allowed me to design a website connected with the St. Jude website that is just Connecticut website. So I get some of the calls because my cell phone number is over there. And I hear a lot of the stuff that I wouldn't normally hear if I was just doing a fundraiser.
But the cool thing is that, Tony, you were saying before, you're getting calls not just from this country, but all over the world, like you said recently from Israel.
Israel, Europe, people that are traveling, or this one from Israel was that she was in Israel, but her daughter-in-law was in the United States. And it was the daughter-in-law who had the small child that wanted, and she saw my number on the website and she called me. And then I referred it, of course, to the people in St. Jude to help them out. And I don't hear what happens after that because it's very private.
Right.
But I did hear about one because it involved not my direct family, but it involved my wife's cousins, brother-in-law or something like that.
Yeah.
And they had a small child who needed help. They went to the hospitals and they couldn't help them. They helped them to a certain point, and then, that was it. So they referred them to St. Jude. So she called me. I called them up, and they were on a plane to St. Jude that afternoon. And a year later, the kid is they call it remission. It's never called a cure, but it's in remission.
Wow,
but the kid
fantastic.
And he's only 3 years old. So that hit home because I knew my cousin, I knew my wife's cousin, and she called me to tell me that the results of it, and that it was, thank God, because, and it's strange because when you talk about St. Jude, they're so unique because they do all the research right there. And it's a research hospital. And you don't want to say anything bad about any other hospital, because they only can go as far as they can go with what they're with. And what's good about St. Jude is all that research is shared with any hospital.
I was just going to ask you that. So
for free.
That's wonderful.
So if a child can't go down to Tennessee, or it's not necessary to bring him and her down, they can go to any other hospital and get the same protocol that they would have gotten at St. Jude.
I love that, Joyce. They share it with Connecticut Children's. They share it with all the hospitals up here. And it's not just kids, but it's also adults who benefit from this as well. But our radio station up in Hartford with iHeart, Country 92.5, is the biggest fundraiser for St. Jude in the state of Connecticut.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Every year. We do the fundraisers for 2 days every single December.
Right.
And we've raised millions and millions. Well, we haven't raised.
Yeah.
Our listeners,
right.
But
With your
it's just
help,
really, it really, and I just hope and pray your children never need St. Jude, but it's there as a safety net, and you don't have to pay a dime. They will set you up. They'll fly you down to St. Jude, set you up with room and board.
I was going to ask
no
that.
Cost,
they do.
Joyce.
They pay for
everything.
The parents where they stay.
They stay. The hospital is designed to look like a daycare center.
Okay.
So they don't want the hospital to look like a hospital for the kids. So when you look at pictures of the hospital, there's toys all over the place.
Rainbows.
They're driving cars around there.
Yeah.
So what they do is most of the patients there are outpatients. But they're outpatients to the condos that have been built and donated by major corporations such as Target or whatever, okay? So the kids stay right there. And they go back and forth between the necessary, because it's not just a hospital anymore, it's a whole entire campus.
Yes.
So what they did is they used to have one parent can stay with a child in this condo, and they would put them up. They would pay for food. They would pay for this. They would pay for that. Now, and I don't know who donated the donations, but now last year, I believe, or the year before, they built a whole nother condo complex that could put up the entire family, like 2-3 bedroom
Wow.
condos. And they do the same thing there.
Wow.
Now, when we say free, what I understand is that if the family has insurance, they'll take a small portion of the insurance, not to blow them out of the water,
Right.
but they'll take just a small portion of that as,
Yeah.
payment.
Yeah.
But there is no other payment
Yeah,
that
that's
they
remarkable.
have to make. Right.
Remarkable. And that's something Danny Thomas started.
Right. Danny Thomas started it.
So going back to your days of watching Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland putting on the plays, he worked with those people.
Right. He did.
And I don't know the story why he started it. Do you?
The story or the legend is
Yeah.
that Danny was between staying in Hollywood and doing something else because he wasn't really doing as good as he wanted to do.
Mhm.
So he made a pact with St. Jude, the spirit St. Jude.
Oh, yeah.
And said, if you tell me what to do and I'm on my road to success, I will build a shrine for you. So I guess the next year or two, he took off and he kept his promise, and the shrine is the hospital.
So St. Jude, I used to know this going to Catholic school.
Patron saint.
Well, because
Patron
they're
saint of hopeless cases.
Right.
Yes.
And he considered himself a hopeless case at that time.
Oh my God.
I've been there before.
Yeah, right.
But none of us are hopeless.
Yeah.
But what's good about St. Jude, another thing that's good about St. Jude is that, first of all, they run the hospital or complex entirely on fundraising, entirely on their fundraising dollars, grants. There's no federal funds. There's nothing. Danny didn't want somebody else to have a say in this that he did not agree with.
Take the politics out of it too.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why it's federally. That's why it's totally. And the last I heard, it was like $2 million a day.
Think about that. $2 million a day. Joyce.
All on fundraising.
Yeah.
And like John said, his radio station made millions and millions. And the people that helped me fundraise for St. Jude Connecticut Network, we've made $1.4 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
Over 35 years.
And just
But
think about that.
still.
1.4 million only keeps it open for half a day.
Yeah.
So that's why you
Yes,
have to keep
yeah.
doing
Oh,
this.
right.
And
Oh,
luckily, they have big
sure.
donors in the private sector.
Yeah, they
too.
did. Yeah, he went to all his good friends in Hollywood and all that.
Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis.
Well, the biggest donor when he was alive was the guy we talked about off air, Elvis.
Was he?
He was their biggest donor. He bought the USS Potomac and donated to Danny Thomas in 1962.
Wow.
And he would privately visit the kids, the patients at night. He'd go from Graceland right to the hospital with no fanfare.
Yeah, see, you
Right.
don't hear about that.
But
right.
there's a whole wing donated to Elvis
Oh,
at St. Jude for all the things he did for those kids.
wow. He was so generous.
He was a great guy.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
And then his daughter keeps it going.
So Marlo,
Marlo keeps it going.
she's in charge of that now.
Yeah. Well, I think her and her brother are.
She lives in Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met her once. What a nice lady.
Yep.
I happened to be in Madison at a book signing that,
That girl.
yeah.
Remember that show
Yeah.
in the 60s?
Yeah.
And,
Way back.
It's still on.
The 60s.
and I,
No,
and,
it's still
yeah,
on,
and it was a
yeah.
child's book, so I went there to have her sign the book, and that's my reason for going. Okay, so I'm in the library, and there must have been about 35 people there, and she said something, and I don't remember exactly what, but she asked a question to the audience, and I put my hand up, and I said, "Yes, I do. I fundraise for St. Jude's Hospital," and I told her how real quick, and she said, "Let everybody stand and give Tony an applaud for what he." I go, "Oh my
That's
God."
class.
It was like, wow.
Isn't that
That's
nice?
class.
That
Yeah.
really is. And then when I went
Yeah.
up to have her sign it, she stayed a little longer with me to ask me exactly what I did. And
Yep.
it's like, I didn't know this. She didn't know me. I didn't know her. And it's like, wow.
Right.
I
She's so
really-
appreciative of
Yes, absolutely. You can see the love of it in her heart
Well,
for what her father started.
you. And
what
you were
she
carrying
wanted.
on his legacy in a way.
Yeah.
That you're all part of that.
And Tony, I'll tell you, whenever I mention St. Jude to anybody, it's like people have such awe for St. Jude. I've never heard a negative thing about it. People will, oh, I donate all the time. Even people with no children donate in honor of their nieces and nephews or somebody else who might be in dire need. But there's nothing quite like it.
No.
Just to be there for people, and you just hope and pray that your kids never need
Never
it.
use it.
But it's there. And they say you're stressed enough, you got a diagnosis for your son, your child. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry. We're going to take care of your child.
And you're going to be in excellent hands.
And up to 95% cure rates on many of the cancers that used to be at 3 or 4% back in 62.
And what's good about their relationship with a lot of the hospitals, like you mentioned them around the country, around the world, is that a hospital knows exactly what their limits are.
Yeah.
So they'll tell the people, refer them to, because that child that I just mentioned, the one of Mike, the hospital was going to do an experimental procedure or something, and then I guess one of the doctors must have said, well, wait, let's refer you to St. Jude first, and then we'll see. So they did, and they told the parents that if the procedure was done, St. Jude would not have been able to help them because they couldn't do what they wanted to do after this was done.
Oh, so good they said that.
And that's the one who survived and was fine after a year.
Wow.
And I had no idea it was like worldwide that people can call.
Yeah.
And and even if it's just to speak with their doctor about it.
Right.
Yeah,
and the speed
as
to what they get you, if they know that you're a good candidate for the research and the treatments. I mean, this person was it was all done. All she had to do was go to the airport, get on the plane, and her child and her were in Tennessee that afternoon.
Right.
Antonio, while they're there too, they make it feel like home. Like you said, they'll decorate the rooms. They have proms, for the kids that are down there. They have dances.
They have dances.
Yeah, just all kinds of fun stuff.
It looks like a big fun,
Right. And when you walk in, you think a hospital initially, like you were alluding to before, Tony. You walk in, it doesn't look like a hospital. You walk in, it looks like a daycare center. Yeah. Everybody has smiles. The kids all look at you and they cheer you up.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going in there, right? It's like kind of sad for the kids, and everything's going to be okay. We love this place.
Yeah.
And many times when they're in remission, or many of them are cured, they'll invite the doctors and nurses that they become friends with to their graduation parties later on in life, and they'll come up and be a part of that. So they're family. They're family.
You know what? This goes back to what we always speak about. And this hospital, it sounds like I'm going to call it a hospital, but the St. Jude whole center is feeding positive thoughts to these kids. They're coming in with smiles on their faces. They're lifting their spirits. It's not like a hospital where you just hear beeping and no one can come in.
Right.
Because that positiveness manifests on the body.
Yeah,
and that
it
helps
does.
with their healing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And a good percentage, from what I'm told, actually go back and go into the profession to help other
Isn't
kids
something?
and work at
Excellent
St. Jude.
point. That's true.
Giving back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back.
Well, I'm sure they give back even later on monetarily, or if they're have this new profession.
Right.
Yeah, that's incredible. Incredible. So I also had the misconception, I think, that people only went to St. Jude if they didn't have the means to take care of the child's needs. But that's not the case. It goes far beyond that. They have the medical expertise.
Yeah, they have the best research
so
in
it
what
doesn't
they
have-
research in the world.
Yeah.
And it's all, they have their own say in what they're going to do. That's the way Danny set it up. If they want, if they're going to develop they have their own pharmaceutical division. So if they're going to develop a drug for a specific type of cancer, or now it's not just cancer, now it's called cancer and other catastrophic childhood diseases. So they do a lot of other diseases.
Right.
And if they're going to develop a drug and they're going to test it and try it out, they do it, and they don't need any other approval to do it.
Wow. I love that.
And they don't do it to make money on the drug.
Right.
They'll do it for the reason that they want to do it to cure the kid. And then if the drug, of course, can be used anywhere else, they share that.
Sure.
But they're not doing it because, okay, we can make a lot of money on this drug, so we'll make the drug. We'll do the research and make the drug. But, this one is not all that, money making. So, well, we won't do that.
And to be quite blunt, their motive and intent is about health and
Right.
not people keeping
And
people
children.
just relying on a drug. They want to get to a cure if they can,
Right.
Right.
rather than some other people may not want a cure because it will stop the money trail.
Right.
To be quite direct.
Right. Yes. That's
So do these drugs also, you think, help adults? Because I know that pediatric can be very different, but if someone is in their 40s or 50s and they don't know what to do here, can they consult with St. Jude?
that I can't answer. I know they only treat children from birth to 18.
Okay.
So it doesn't look like an adult can go there and get treated.
But maybe their doctor can
But
call
right,
or
but
get in.
but what I infer is that a lot of their research goes out into the world that helps.
So they have
adults.
access
Yeah.
to that.
So somebody at Yale or
Wow.
St.
Right.
Raphael's.
Who
here
says,
at
Like
St.
Milo
Jude.
let me see
Center
your
or
research or
something.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then they take it further than that. And now it's a drug for adults or adolescents or whatever.
And if so they're not going to be proprietary about it. They're going to share it,
Right. They're going to share it. As
Yeah,
far as I know, they
which
share
is-
all their research free
which is
Yeah.
with any
fantastic.
hospital that wants to
Love it.
do
Love
it.
it.
So events coming up?
Yes.
What do you have lined up there, Tony
Yeah.
Raucci?
Yes.
We have an event at Lyman Orchards this September, Saturday, Sunday,
In
weekend.
Middlefield, Connecticut. A great
Right.
spot. Love the place.
Yeah, the 12th and 13th of September. I call it's like a mini Durham fair. Okay. What they do is for those 2 weekends from 12 to 4, those 2 days that weekend from 12 to 4, there's 2 bands that'll play for a couple hours each. There's food all over the place, food trucks, food from Lyman. There's not horseback. There's pony rides. There's wagon rides. There's a corn maze. There's, apple picking, strawberry picking, whatever you want.
And I heard you're going to be singing this year with one of the
No.
bands.
No, he says. No.
There's a beer garden. 4 or 5 breweries get together and for St. Jude, and they come and
Nice.
do that. There's an ice cream truck. I mean, there's a whole. It's really for children and adults. And
Hey, we're all children. I don't want to grow up.
Well, and
Me either.
the bands this year on Saturday, it will be a Linda Ronstadt tribute band. And then there'll be a rock and
You
roll
told
band.
me she's
50s and
fabulous
60s.
too.
Mary Beth
she
Sippin?
sounds
Mary Beth
just
Sippin.
like Linda.
Hey,
And
Mary Beth.
On Sunday, there'll be a Southern rock band in the morning or at 12 o'clock to hit it off. And
Get
then
some
at
Skinner, Allman
and at
Brothers,
2
Marshall
o'clock,
Tucker.
yeah,
Love
at
it.
2 o'clock, there'll be a local country band from Durham. They're all 4 bands are great.
For people who don't live in this area, maybe they want to travel
worth the
there.
trip.
It sounds like it's a really nice, country fair.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's
It is.
September in New England.
Beautiful.
It's
Oh,
worth
my
the trip
gosh.
up here.
Yeah.
Come on,
I mean,
come on
John's
up.
been at Lyman. It's a beautiful grounds. There's
Right.
golfing there, 3 golf
Right.
courses if you want to golf.
Best fruits and vegetables, too.
Yeah. I mean,
They're known for their pies. aren't
Yes,
they?
they're known
yes,
for their
their
pies.
Pies. Don't you love pies?
Yep. All pies are
I
cooked
do.
directly by them with their fruit.
Oh, that's
So-
reason enough to go.
I'm sold. I'm sold.
Yeah. And then in October 18th in Clinton, at
That's
the
Clinton, Connecticut here.
Yep, at the Clinton Theater in the town hall.
Is that Andrews Memorial?
Right.
Okay.
The Linda Ronstadt tribute band is going to be doing a concert for us.
So it's like an encore performance.
Yeah.
Mary Beth Sippin once
Mary
again.
Beth Sippin again, and we did it last year, and it was fantastic. And we'll do it again this year, and hope we get the same response.
That's
And,
great.
and where can they find all this information?
The tickets is actually put on by the Clinton Rotary Club, which donates to St. Jude every year. And all you need to do is go and Google Clinton, Connecticut Rotary Club. It'll come up. You can get tickets up there. You can see, you can hear a promo of what the band sounds like, and get all the information you need right there.
Now, as far as St. Jude goes, how do they get in touch with you? If somebody says, "Oh man, I never really understood St. Jude," like Joyce was not right. You said a couple you had a question. I
Right,
had no
right.
idea.
Yeah.
If they want to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
Well, they can either call my cell phone, which I give out all over the place.
So I'll put that under
Okay.
the show. Yeah.
Or you can go to stjudectnetwork.org, and that's the St. Jude website.
St. Jude CT.
That's the
Network.
Connecticut website. stjudectnetwork.org.
Okay. That sounds good, Tony. Thanks for all the work you've done, and
No, thank you
going
for
back to your
having me. I
grandma,
enjoyed it.
for really inspiring you with this. And I think that's just fantastic. And I know you do this in memory of your aunt
Yeah.
as well, and so thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit more about St. Jude, which is just really, like we said many times, a safety net for so many. Hope you never need it, but it's there if you do.
I tell you, those commercials get to my
Oh,
heart.
every
It
time.
breaks me.
Very well done.
Yes,
Every
really
time.
well
Well
done.
Yeah.
Well, What's Good with John and Joyce, available everywhere, but subscribe on YouTube today. Like it, share it with everybody you know. It's free. Until next time, God bless you and your family. Joyce, good seeing you. Tony Raucci, thanks for all the good
Thank
you're
you.
doing.
Thank
You're
you
doing
both.
God's work.
Yes,
Until next
thank
time.
you.
Bye for now.
Hey, I heard you got engaged. Congratulations. Now it's time to book the DJ. And that's where we come in. I'm John Cadillac Seville with John Seville Entertainment, Wedding Wire, and the Knot 2026 Couples Choice Awards winner. You can call me directly if you like at 203-988-0658. We'll set up your free consultation. Or go to johncaddyman.com. That's 203-988-0658 or johncaddyman.com. We offer excellence, peace of mind, and a great time for all. John Seville Entertainment, a name you know and can trust.